Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm like Biden. Thank you very much for being with me again today. A few months ago, I think maybe 8 months ago, I made a video where I made this claim because it fit the article I was discussing, and that is sometimes when you fight, let's say a fist fight or a competition, or I don't know, it's two teams, one against another. Obviously, you get physically tired, and then all of a sudden you see the other side getting a second wind or something, and they reinvigorate themselves and they start fighting harder, and you're like, I'm dead. How in the hell this guy? Now that offensive, or a capability of the other side to show energy again, and more energy and more energy and more energy, it destroys your morale, because you say, how in the hell? And it's still coming. Not done yet? No, not done yet. Even more. So I think this is what's going on with Russia in Ukraine. They bring, I said that about, as I said, about 8 months ago or so, the Russians are bringing troops more and more and more. The Ukrainians are going back, barely can make it against what it is, and this guy bring more, and then bring more, and then bring more. It should be very, very psychologically, detrimental to the morale of the Ukrainians. So what's going on right now? The Russians are bringing more troops, trained troops, and weapons from Belarus. Now in Belarus, reportedly, there are about 10,000 Russian troops stationed over there, but it seems like that's a location where the Russians are training their troops that then they deploy to the front. That's exactly what happens right now. So the Ukrainians see these guys coming like, how about us? They say they got about 30,000 Ukrainians training as we speak in Europe and United States, and I don't think in Canada, but United States. And I have a gut feeling that those are gonna come speaking different kind of languages when they come back as troops, and a lot of volunteers speaking different languages with with ranks right here already. But anyway, what do I know? We're gonna find out. So let's see what's going on with this article, which comes from the New Voice of Ukraine. It is from March 1st, 2023. Contingent of trained Russian forces and military equipment moving from Belarus to Donbas. Oh no. All right, so one unit is reportedly going to the Chervona Mohyla station in Luhansk Oblast. On February 27th, another unit of the Russian armed forces was sent from the Polonka station, Brest Oblast, to the Gukova station, Rostov Oblast, and then the Cherhova Mohyla station, Luhansk region. The military train consists of 50 cars in particular, 10 passenger wagons with approximately 500 troops, 3 covered wagons with equipment, 37 platform wagons with military equipment. That's where you bring tanks and whatever, howitzers and whatever you bring. The new contingent is expected to arrive at its destination station in Russia around March 3rd. There will be a change of locomotive to a locomotive of the so-called DPR, one of the sham republics Russia set up in Ukraine's Donbas in 2014. I think they held some referenda over there, and they voted people, democracy, Okay. Let's get going here. Next, the contingent will go to the temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine, more precisely to the Chervona Mohyla station and further towards Debaltseve, and then to Vokhlehirsk. Furthermore, the Hajun reported that on February 27th, 2 more military units with equipment and a trained contingent of the Russian army were sent from Belarus to the Donetsk-Luhansk Oblast, from the Lisova station to the Osipovich station. In both contingents, the destination stations are located on the North Caucasus Railway. At it's been reported the following were taken from Osipovich: 6 passenger cars, approximately 300 people, 5 freight cars, equipment, 25 trucks, 12 artillery pieces, most likely 152mm Giacinth B guns. According to the monitoring group, at least 83 pieces of equipment, at least 800 personnel, and at least 8 wagons where equipment and ammunition have already left Belarus. Commander of the Joint Forces of Armed Forces of Ukraine, Serhiy Navey, said that Russia does not have the resources for an offensive in the north of Ukraine. That's correct. According to him, there are currently 65,000 personnel of the Belarusian armed forces in Belarus, of which 4,000 are based in the border areas with Ukraine. According to him, there are currently 65,000 personnel of Belarus. This is a double thing here. What's going on here? Slackers. On February 20th, the spokesperson of State Border Service, Andriy Demchenko, stated that there is currently no strike group on the territory of Belarus capable of launching a new attack on Ukraine from the north. I told you it's about 10,000 Russians. However, he emphasized that the enemy should not be underestimated and that the situation could change at any moment. I don't think this piece of news is really concerning, but it's 800 troops trained with weapons coming to Luhansk, Donetsk. That's where the offensive, as mild as it seems from here, mild because we don't see major advance from the Russians or anything. But if the other side is also strong, then obviously the fight is balanced. Nevertheless, I made a video a minute ago where the Ukrainians, one of the officials of the Ukrainian, how should I put him, people in charge of the Ukrainian nation, said that they think about retreating from Bakhmut, so leaving Bakhmut in the dust and maybe fight another day. I think that's a very good decision. They are almost encircled, they're bombarded, the town is flattened. But guess whose fault is it, according to that weasel? The West. Why? They didn't send the weapons soon enough. They came late. And then another one, the West did not train properly and equipped properly the Ukrainian army, which the West somehow has to by their decrees or what. Anyway, this is irritating when you help someone and that guy says you didn't help me enough. First, I help you, so I didn't have to help you. You can bring all kind of bullshit that if we fall, you're gonna be seeing the Russian boots at your doorstep. No, that's a make-believe scenario. I can make many scenarios that are much better than that. But their scenario is based on pathos, not on logos. That's why I say, hey, Western countries, Coca-Cola will be taken from you. Oh, no Coca-Cola and the beer. Jesus, baby doll, get the beer in the basement, hide it. Let's dig some holes. They're not gonna dig holes, they're too fat to do it. That's why they're afraid to lose their beer and the television and the video games. I'm just exaggerating, but I'm irritated with the whole situation when I see Ukraine, the nation of Ukraine, being used, in my assessment, by other, if you know what I mean. And then those other are considered good. Okay, well, as I always say, there's no such a thing as only good or only bad or good and evil. That's a religious thing and blah, blah, blah. But they look at it that way. The Russians are the beasts. These guys are the saints. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.